If you love Arsenal as much as we do, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's dive straight into today's massive Arsenal news. Come on, you Gunners. Gunners, today we have one of the biggest transfer stories of the summer. According to widespread media reports, Arsenal are pushing hard to sign Newcastle United captain Bruno Guimarães. Reports claim Arsenal have reached personal terms with the Brazilian midfielder and are now preparing what could be a massive £70 million bid. However, it is important to stress that no transfer has been officially confirmed by Arsenal or Newcastle United. At the time of recording, the clubs have not announced an agreement. What we are seeing is a rapidly developing transfer story that could dominate the coming days. If these reports prove accurate, this could become one of Arsenal's biggest signings under Mikel Arteta. Bruno Guimarães is widely regarded as one of the Premier League's elite midfielders. Since joining Newcastle United, he has transformed their midfield with his energy, leadership, creativity, defensive work, and ability to dictate the tempo of matches. Those qualities have made him one of the most admired midfielders in England. Now, reports suggest Arsenal believe he could be the final piece needed to strengthen a midfield already containing Declan Rice, Martin Ødegaard and Martin Zubimendi. If Arsenal succeed, it would send a strong message to every Premier League rival that the Gunners are determined to challenge for every major trophy this season. But signing Newcastle's captain will not be easy. Newcastle have consistently maintained that Bruno Guimarães is one of the most important players in Eddie Howe's squad. He is not only their midfield engine, but also a leader on and off the pitch. That is why reports indicate Newcastle are reluctant to sell despite growing speculation. This is where the story becomes fascinating. Several reports claim Bruno Guimarães is interested in the Arsenal project under Mikel Arteta. Arsenal have built a reputation as one of Europe's fastest improving teams, competing regularly in the Champions League while challenging for the Premier League title. Arteta has transformed Arsenal into a club capable of attracting world-class players. The possibility of working under Arteta, competing for trophies and playing alongside elite talent is believed to be one reason why Arsenal remain an attractive destination. Even so, viewers should remember that reports about personal terms or a player's desire to move do not by themselves complete a transfer. A deal would still require an agreement between Arsenal and Newcastle, and there is no official confirmation that such an agreement has been reached. As this story develops, football fans everywhere will be watching closely. Will Arsenal make an official offer? Will Newcastle reject it? Could negotiations continue for days or even weeks? One thing is certain, Bruno Guimarães has become one of the biggest names linked with Arsenal. And this transfer saga is only getting started. So stay with Arsenal Daily Talk as we follow every update on this developing story. Coming up in part 2, we'll examine exactly why Mikel Arteta reportedly wants Bruno Guimarães, how he would fit into Arsenal's tactical system, and why many supporters believe he could transform the Gunners' midfield. And why Mikel Arteta reportedly wants Bruno Guimarães. Welcome back, Gunners. If the reports linking Bruno Guimarães with Arsenal are accurate, one question immediately comes to mind. Why is Mikel Arteta so determined to bring the Brazilian midfielder to the Emirates? The answer lies in the way Arteta wants Arsenal to play. Over the past few seasons, Arsenal have evolved into one of the Premier League's most tactically sophisticated teams. Arteta demands complete control of matches through possession, intelligent movement, aggressive pressing, and quick transitions. To play that style consistently, every midfielder must be comfortable receiving the ball under pressure, breaking opposition lines with accurate passing, winning duels and working tirelessly without possession. These are qualities that have made Bruno Guimarães one of the Premier League's standout midfielders. During his time at Newcastle United, Bruno has demonstrated that he can influence every phase of the game, whether helping his defenders build from the back, progressing the ball through midfield, or supporting attacks in the final third. He has consistently shown versatility and composure. One of his greatest strengths is his ability to receive the ball while under intense pressure. Many midfielders choose the safe option when opponents press aggressively. Bruno, however, is known for staying calm, shielding the ball effectively and finding progressive passes that move his team forward. For Arsenal, this could be particularly valuable. Last season, opponents often tried to disrupt Arsenal by pressing high and limiting the influence of Declan Rice and Martin Ødegaard. A midfielder with Bruno's press resistance could provide another reliable outlet during those difficult moments. Another aspect of his game that stands out is his passing range. Bruno is capable of playing short combinations to maintain possession while also switching play with long, accurate passes that stretch opposition defences. That variety would suit Arsenal's patient build-up style, where quick changes of direction often create space for attacking players. But Bruno is not simply a creative midfielder. His defensive contribution is equally important. He works relentlessly to recover possession, closes down opponents aggressively, and frequently wins tackles and interceptions in dangerous areas. Arteta has repeatedly emphasised that every Arsenal player must contribute defensively, regardless of position. Bruno's work rate aligns well with that philosophy. Leadership is another quality that should not be overlooked. At Newcastle United, Bruno has worn the captain's armband and has become one of the team's emotional leaders. He plays with intensity, encourages teammates, and thrives in high-pressure matches. Arsenal already have experienced leaders such as Martin Ødegaard and Declan Rice. Adding another player with leadership qualities could further strengthen the squad's mentality during title races and Champions League knockout matches. Now imagine a midfield featuring Declan Rice protecting the defence, Martin Ødegaard orchestrating attacks, and Bruno Guimarães linking every phase of play. On paper, it would offer balance, technical quality, defensive strength, and creativity. It could also provide Arteta with greater tactical flexibility. Against defensive teams, Bruno could help unlock compact defences through clever passing and movement. Against stronger opponents, his defensive work and composure could help Arsenal control midfield battles. However, there are still important questions. If Bruno were to arrive, how would Arsenal balance minutes among their talented midfielders? Could tactical adjustments be required? Would Arteta occasionally rotate his system depending on the opposition? Those decisions would only become relevant if a transfer is successfully completed. And that brings us back to the current situation. Despite widespread reports suggesting Arsenal are interested and personal terms may have been agreed, there has been no official confirmation from either Arsenal or Newcastle United that a transfer has been completed. Negotiations between clubs, if they take place, can be complex, especially when they involve one of the Premier League's top players. That means supporters should remain excited but also patient as events continue to unfold. In part 3, we'll take a closer look at Newcastle United's position, why the Magpies are reportedly determined to keep their captain, and what obstacles Arsenal may still need to overcome before any potential deal can happen. Newcastle's position, why this could be. Arsenal's toughest transfer battle. Welcome back, Gunners. As exciting as the reports linking Bruno Guimarães with Arsenal may be, there is one major obstacle standing in the way of any potential transfer. Newcastle United. From everything that has been reported so far, Newcastle are not eager to lose one of the most influential players in their squad. Bruno Guimarães is much more than just another midfielder. He has become the heartbeat of Eddie Howe's team and one of the leaders in the dressing room. Since arriving at St James's Park, Bruno has developed into one of the Premier League's standout midfielders. His technical ability, defensive work, creativity and leadership have made him a fan favourite and a player Newcastle have built around. That is why, according to reports, Newcastle's public position has remained firm. They do not intend to sell their captain. If Arsenal are indeed preparing a bid worth around £70 million, Newcastle must decide whether that valuation reflects Bruno's importance to the club. For Newcastle supporters, replacing a player of his quality would be an enormous challenge. Elite central midfielders are among the hardest players to find in modern football. They need to defend, create chances, control the tempo of matches, and consistently perform against the best teams. Bruno has shown he can do all of those things in one of the most competitive leagues in the world. This explains why Newcastle are expected to negotiate from a position of strength. Reports have also suggested that Bruno respects Newcastle and appreciates what the club has done for his career. Even amid transfer speculation, there has been no official statement from the player confirming that a move is imminent. That is an important distinction. Transfer stories often move quickly, and until the clubs reach an agreement or one publicly announces that negotiations have progressed, nothing is guaranteed. From Arsenal's perspective, patience could be crucial. If the Gunners formally submit an offer, Newcastle could reject it, ask for a higher fee, or decide they simply want to keep their captain for another season. This is common in high-profile transfers. The first offer is not always accepted, and negotiations can continue for days or even weeks before any breakthrough is reached. Another factor is timing. With a new season approaching, Newcastle may be reluctant to weaken their squad unless they are confident they can sign a replacement. Selling such an important player late in the transfer window would leave little time to rebuild the midfield. That could strengthen Newcastle's negotiating position even further. For Arsenal, however, the ambition is clear. Mikel Arteta has repeatedly shown that he wants technically gifted, intelligent and hard-working players capable of competing for the biggest trophies. If Arsenal believe Bruno Guimarães is the right fit for their long-term project, they may be prepared to negotiate patiently rather than rush the process. The coming days could therefore be decisive. Will Arsenal submit an official bid? Will Newcastle reject it immediately or open discussions? Could both clubs eventually find common ground? At this stage, those questions remain unanswered. What is confirmed is that there has been no official announcement from Arsenal or Newcastle confirming a completed transfer. Until that happens, this remains a developing transfer story that supporters should follow closely. Stay tuned, because in part 4, we'll explore how Bruno Guimarães could fit into Arsenal's strongest starting 11, the tactical changes Arteta might make, and whether this signing could transform Arsenal into even stronger Premier League and Champions League contenders. Could Bruno Guimarães transform Arsenal? Welcome back, Gunners. As we reach the final part of this developing transfer story, the biggest question remains. If Arsenal were able to sign Bruno Guimarães, how much could he improve Mikel Arteta's team? A player like Bruno would bring qualities that every top club wants: experience, leadership, technical ability, and the mentality to perform in high-pressure matches. In midfield, Arsenal already have excellent options, but Bruno's arrival could add another level of control. His ability to win the ball, escape pressure, and create opportunities could give the Gunners even more dominance against tough opponents. A midfield combination involving players like Declan Rice, Martin Ødegaard and Bruno Guimarães would provide a balance of defensive strength, creativity and attacking intelligence. However, Gunners must remember that this transfer is still only a developing story and interest, but until Arsenal and Newcastle United make an official announcement, nothing is guaranteed. What is clear is that Bruno Guimarães represents exactly the type of player Arsenal have been targeting under Mikel Arteta. Elite quality, strong mentality and the ability to compete at the highest level. Whether this potential move becomes a reality or not, the summer transfer window promises to be exciting for Arsenal supporters. Keep following Arsenal Daily Talk for the latest updates, transfer developments and all the breaking news from the Emirates. Come on, you Gunners!